Namaskar. I salute the divinity within you with all the good thoughts of my mind and love of my heart. Welcome to this webinar. The theme is Bhakti Yoga, one heart, one mind, creating a world inspired by love. You will be inspired by love and the rest of the people of the world also. There are many types of yoga today. As we browse through the internet or we check different yoga studios, we are going to see different names: Anusara Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Bikram Yoga, Hatha Yoga, Yenga, Vinyasa, and so many other names. But basically, all of them are just a variation of what we call Hatha Yoga. Now, what is yoga for? Yoga for human beings. It's a practice, and the minimum requisite is to be a human being. Now, human beings, we have our body connected with the sensory and the motor organs. We have the mind. In the mind is the realm of thoughts, many thoughts. And these thoughts many times are fueled by the mental propensities, such as fear, indifference, shame, hope, and many more. In fact, there are 50 of these propensities, and these propensities, they can work internally and externally. So let's say 50 times 2. And they can be expressed through our 5 sensory organs and 5 motor organs. So let's say 5 plus 5, that makes 10. So 50 times 2, 100 times 10, we get 1000. So in fact, there are 1000 propensities. More examples: shame, cruelty, indulgence. Now, these propensities are controlled by the chakras. What are the chakras? Chakras are psychic energy centers, and they are located throughout the body. There are 7 basic chakras, 7 main chakras, and they control all these 1000 propensities. Now, the chakras are in the subtle body, but in the physical body, the correspondent are the endocrine glands. These glands produce hormones. The hormones have an effect in the mind. Let's say too much adrenaline, too much fear, and so on. So chakras in the subtle level, endocrine glands in the crude or physical level. Let's see some definitions of yoga. We'll see now 2 main definitions. The first one, which is quite well known: yoga is chitta, vritti, nirodha. Chitta means the mind. Vritti are the propensities that we have just talked about. Propensities, vritti. And nirodha means suspension. So here the definition is that yoga is the suspension of all those propensities of mind. That's one definition. And what is number 2? Number 2 says that yoga is actually a merger or a unification. Unification of what? Unification of the individual unit consciousness with the infinite cosmic consciousness. Let's say that the individual is like a drop. small drop. And this drop merges in the ocean of the Supreme Consciousness. So yoga is that unification, that merger of the unit consciousness into the cosmic consciousness. That's the second definition. Let's see Hatha Yoga. How does it work? In Hatha Yoga, the propensities get controlled by stopping the functioning of the nerves. So, applying physical energy through techniques, pranayama, breathing, concentration, physical techniques, one stops the nerves, stops the nerve fibers, nerve cells. Therefore, there remain no vibrations in the mind. The mind is made of ectoplasm. That's the mental substance, ectoplasm. So there will be no vibration in that ectoplasm. No forms will be created, no sounds will be created, no vibration. The mind stops. That suspension of the mind, that temporary control of the propensities, that is called Hatha Yoga. So in Hatha Yoga, we are suspending the propensities. We can say that through Hatha Yoga, we can get that first definition of yoga, Chitta Vritti Nirodha, suspending the mind. But is that real yoga? The word yoga means unification. Now, in this first definition, we are suspending the mind, suspending the propensities. It's not a real unification. So something is missing, something else has to be done. Let's think about human beings, what we want. What are we looking for in everything we do? If we go on holidays, if we want to meet somebody, what we are really looking for, let's say we are looking for happiness, peace. We can ask a second question, how much happiness do we want? And people will answer, always. We want always. Not 5 minutes, 10 minutes. We want infinite, infinite happiness. Always happy. What does the philosophy tell us? In the book Ananda Sutram by Sri Sri Anandamurti, in chapter 2, talks about the human being. The first point of this chapter, this Ananda Sutram is a book that has what we call sutras. A sutra is a verb or a verse. It's a verse, a small poem that helps to define the philosophy. So the first sutra in the Ananda Sutram, chapter 2, is Anukula Vedanyam Sukham. Here we have the word Sukham. Sukham means happiness. Anukula Vedanyam Sukham. When I get a congenial feeling in my mind, that is happiness. I like to dance, I dance. I like it, I'm happy. If I'm not allowed to, I'm not happy. I like strawberry ice cream. If I go to the shop and do you have strawberry ice cream? Yes, I get happy. Congenial mental feeling. If they say no, I get unhappy. It's not congenial. It's not, I didn't get what I wanted. So that's the first point of philosophy. It defines happiness. And what's the second? The second point says that the attachment to happiness is the primary propensity of every being. Sukha Nurakti Parama Joyvi Priti. We already saw the word Sukha. means happiness. Sukhanurakti, attachment to happiness. Vritti, we also saw this word. Vritti means propensity. Joivi means being. And Parama means the main, the most important. So Sukhanurakti, Parama, Joivi, Priti. Every being wants happiness. Not only human beings, animals, plants, every being wants happiness. Let's go to number 3. Third point, Sukham, Anantam, Anandam. We already know the word Sukha means happiness. Then the word Anantam, that means infinite. Infinite happiness, Sukham Anantam. That is called Ananda, or bliss in English. So that's what people are looking for. Sukham Anantam, or Ananda. People are looking for Ananda, infinite happiness, bliss. And where to find this Ananda? Where to find this infinite happiness? So the next sutra is Anandam Brahma Ityahu. So this bliss is Brahma, or Supreme Consciousness. Brahma means Supreme Consciousness. So the Supreme Consciousness is infinite bliss. It's Ananda. It's an endless flow of bliss. So there human beings will find bliss. That is the philosophy of yoga in Ananda Sutra. So how to get that bliss? Through unification. Unification with what? With that Supreme Consciousness. So merging the unity with the cosmic, like a drop of water merging with the ocean. That is yoga, that kind of unification. So not only suspend the propensities, but one has to merge into the cosmic consciousness. And that is the real definition of yoga. Now, how to merge? There is where we have Bhakti Yoga. It needs attraction, it needs love. One has to develop love for that Supreme Consciousness. There is a difference between love and passion. Passion is for limited objects, people. Love is infinite. Love is for the infinite, it's an endless. So we have to develop love for the Supreme, longing for the Supreme. And that is bhakti, this longing for the Supreme. We do not want the finite, we want the infinite. Something that has no limit, that's endless, a continuous flow of bliss. Always, the mind will always be established in that flow. And that's what really human beings want. We will not be satisfied with limited happiness, with what we get from objects which are limited, which do not last. Now the question comes, is bhakti natural or unnatural? Is it natural for human beings to want something infinite? We see in every walk of life, when we have an amount, we want more, and if we have more, we want even more. Millionaires want to be billionaires, and humans are never satisfied with the limited. We naturally want something unlimited. And logically, we cannot get the unlimited from the limited. We cannot get from a limited source what is unlimited. In fact, in the universe, the law of attraction exists. and maintains the universe. The moon goes around the earth because of attraction. The earth goes around the sun because of attraction. So attraction is natural in the universe. It is basically the dharma of the universe. And what is this word dharma? It means the characteristic, the property of a being. That is the dharma. Let me give you an example. Imagine fire. Fire, that's the characteristic of fire. Fire, it burns, it burns. If it stops burning, it extinguishes, it disappears. If doesn't burn, it's not fire. So a main characteristic of the fire to burn. Let's say the dharma of fire is to burn. And what's the dharma of the human being? To want the infinite. We don't want the limited, we want the infinite. This is the dharma of the human being. It differentiates the human being from other animals and other beings. How to get bhakti? We may think, oh, must be something very difficult. How to get it? Or does it come automatically? Well, there is a formula. There is karma, which means action. Karma means action. And there is another point, gyan. Gyan means knowledge. And the formula is action or karma minus knowledge or gyan. The result is bhakti. So we have to do more than we know. Let's say we learn meditation. We learn the technique of meditation. Maybe that learning will take 30 minutes, an hour. We learn a technique, how to do the meditation. That's gyan. Now we have to do it. We have to do it every day. So every day we'll do those 30 minutes, maybe twice. So we are doing and doing and doing much more than we were learning. So karma is more than gyan, action more than knowledge. So there is progress, there is bhakti. If I just learn the technique of yoga, learn the technique of meditation, but I do not practice, that knowledge without karma, without action, has no value. There will be no progress. In fact, it will be a negative because I will know a lot and I will not do, so bhakti will become negative. So too much knowledge without action makes one dry. No love, no bhakti. Bhakti equals action minus knowledge. More action and less knowledge. It means your action should be much more than your knowledge. There are different types of bhakti, different types of energy in the universe. The first type is tamasic or static. Static devotion, static bhakti. An example, I'm relating to the Supreme Consciousness, so that is bhakti. And how I'm relating? I'm asking the Supreme Consciousness, oh please, this enemy I have is terrible. Therefore, kill my enemy. Kill my enemy. That's a kind of bhakti, but it's static bhakti. But somebody a little bit more elevated has this Rajasiki bhakti. That is mutative bhakti. So instead of asking to kill enemy, That one may ask, "Oh, Supreme Consciousness, please find a good job for me. I really need a good job." That's a kind of devotion, a kind of bhakti. I'm relating to that Supreme Consciousness, but what am I asking? For a job. Well, more subtle bhakti, sattvic bhakti, subtle devotion. I'm not asking anymore for killing my enemy or for a job. I'm thinking, oh, Supreme Consciousness, I'm old, my body is not the same, and I cannot enjoy the food I eat, I can't digest, so give me mukti. You know, mukti is a Sanskrit word for liberation. So give me liberation. Here is very subtle. The person is not asking for anything physical, but suppose he'll recover his health, then he will continue enjoying life. But if his health is bad, he'll think, oh yes, give me liberation. So this kind of relationship with that Supreme Consciousness. So these three types, static, mutative, and subtle, they are what we call formal bhakti. It's just a formality. It's not a real bhakti. Now we go to other types of bhakti, pure, pure bhakti, pure devotion. So the first type is Raganuga Bhakti. In Raganuga Bhakti, one develops love for the Supreme Consciousness. Why? Because it makes one happy. I love him because it makes me happy. Now the point here is the me. It makes me happy. Still has a touch of selfishness. Still there is me and there is the Supreme. Both me and the Supreme. We want to go deeper. Deeper is Ragatmika Bhakti. In Ragatmika Bhakti, one will say, I love the Supreme Consciousness because it makes the Supreme Consciousness happy. So there is no me, there is only Supreme Consciousness. That is the highest type of devotion, highest type of bhakti. So between pure devotion and formal devotion, we want pure devotion. Pure, we want to love the Supreme Consciousness. Not we want to ask for killing our enemies or a job or liberation. We can get liberation, but will not get the Supreme Consciousness. We want the Supreme Consciousness, and that's the pure devotion. How to become established in that pure bhakti? Here I will give a formula. This formula has 4 points. The number 1, do good, perform good deeds, spend your time doing something good. Number 2, do something for others, service, help other people in a selfless way, without expecting anything in return. Do something for the people, for humanity, for other beings. Then, number 3, do your spiritual practices regularly. For some time during the day, concentrate your mind on that Supreme Consciousness. Think about something that's not mundane. Think about spirituality. What is spiritual? Let's say physical is easy to understand. Mental, yes, we can also understand mental. Physical, we know it is limited. Mental may be very, very big, but still there are limitations. So spiritual is when we are in the realm of something infinite, something that is not limited, the unlimited. That's the spiritual. So practice what expands your mind to the infinite. Practices what removes all the barriers from your mind. Techniques, ways of expanding the mind. And what is number four? Number four, don't accept injustice. Fight against what is wrong. Fight against injustice. There is a lot of injustice happening. So, a spiritualist, one who wants to get established in pure bhakti, needs to fight these injustices. So that's the formula. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do something good. Do service, selfless service to the world, to humanity. Do your spiritual practices regularly and fight against injustice. Now, some aids, some practices. The first one we call bhajan. Bhajan is basically to sing, but not just to sing anything. Sing something that is related to bhakti, something that is devotional, reminds you of the Supreme, your relationship with the Supreme, the presence, the closeness of the Supreme, the love for the Supreme. So that's bhajan. And more. Do what is called kirtan. Kirtan means just singing for the Supreme, or just singing the name of the Supreme. So only the name of that most beloved, the nearest, the most beloved is Baba. Nam is the name. Kevalam, only. That's a mantra. Baba, Nam, Kevalam. Dance and sing. So you see, arms up, moving the whole body, dancing, the whole physical body, mental body being used to repeat the mantra, to concentrate on the Supreme. The arms are open, you are surrendering, you are connecting with that Supreme Consciousness. And that's Kirtan. It's a very effective practice. And then meditate. In Kirtan, you are engaging the whole body. In meditation, you are withdrawing from the body. So the body is motionless. It's an internal practice. The mantra is inside. The relationship is internal between you and that Supreme Consciousness. And you will also do service to that Supreme Consciousness within your mind. And your mind is within the Supreme. So that's meditation. Meditation is a personal practice, can also be a collective practice. You can also do collective meditation. In this case here, there is a practice called Ishvara Pranidha'na. Is the first lesson of the Ananda Marga system of meditation. This first lesson, or Ishvara Pranidha'na, how is it done? Here, all those propensities that we talked before, 1000 propensities, they are concentrated in one point. It means The individual is withdrawing the mind from the external world where propensities are active, bringing within, withdrawing the mind from the body, concentrating the mind in a particular point. So the mind, the ectoplasmic structure, is apexed to that particular point. What is next? After concentrating that particular point, move that point towards the cosmic consciousness, the cosmic self, our real self, not our external self, but our cosmic self. So that movement is Pranidha'na. And the movement is towards the cosmic Ishvara. So it is Ishvara Pranidha'na. That's a very effective technique. Withdrawing the mind from external world, withdrawing the mind from the body, concentrating the mind in one point, making it apexed, and now moving towards the cosmic. That meditation, that Ishvara Pranidha'na, maybe we are doing it twice a day, in the morning and in the evening. Let's say for 30 minutes or so. Meditation is done best on an empty stomach. So before breakfast, before dinner, one is practicing the Ishvara Pranidha'na. But then we have the whole day. What do? We still have to keep the mind connected with the cosmic consciousness as we go through the day, so it doesn't get again attached to the limited, to the world, to the objects of the world. So the next technique is brahmacharya. Brahmacharya means one gets oneself established in the ideation, in the cosmic ideation. Before we do something, we think that that object involved in the action is cosmic consciousness. The action itself is cosmic consciousness. We are an expression of cosmic consciousness. So we create the ideation that everything is cosmic consciousness. And that's a whole day practice. It can be done anytime before you do any action. So these two practices together, the Ishvara Pranidha'na, which you are doing 2 times a day, let's say morning and evening, and the Brahmacharya, which you are doing all the time or any time, let's say the whole day, you are thinking, you are ideating in the cosmic consciousness. These two practices comprise a complete system of meditation. Of course, you are adding bhajans, kirtan to your practice. Kirtan is a very important practice. And that will take you towards that supreme consciousness, that cosmic consciousness, developing bhakti or love, longing for the supreme. And that is the Bhakti Yoga. Well, this much for today. And I know that it's a short presentation. I cannot go so deep. We are preparing a special program in the summer, July 1st to 7, 2012. Well, it's a yearly program. It will repeat in 2013 and so on. For details, go to the website, pathofbliss.com. This year we'll do it in Kansas City. The theme will include these practices, Shwara Pranidha'na and Brahmacharya, and a lot of kirtan. And collective kirtan does a lot, take us very much ahead, much deep in our meditation. So don't miss this program if you can. It's called the Summer Bliss Retreat. Thank you for attending this webinar and Namaskar. And I hope to see you in future webinars. And this is Dada Rainjitananda. Namaskar.